good afternoon, and thank you guys for investing some time with me and more importantly with security leaders. We're here today after running a great job by our marketing team putting together a benchmark survey last year. Over 300 security owners. It's been downloaded over 500 times. And today is the time to give away the nuggets. Lots of great input. And I'm joined here by Steve Finkel, who was a client of mine for many, many years. Ironically fired me in 2016 for a little bit of what we're talking about today. And Jack Goldsboro, and I promised I wouldn't mention that the minimum wage was $1.19 when you started. So we got that off the floor. We're good to go.
Very good.
Guys, thank you again. Stephen, there are many ways in which to enhance the profitability of companies, but I thought we'd start with something as we had this three-headed monster of labor costs, financial costs, insurance costs. So with the services you provide under the Whitehaven umbrella, give me a little couple of nuggets for the audience with insurance.
Yeah, absolutely. How you doing, Jeff? Great to be here.
Awesome.
So really, it's knowing your financial statements and knowing your P&L and really what's your second biggest cost of payroll. It's insurance. And it's really how you track your insurance. And most companies take the full 20% deposit in 1 month, and they take it over 10 months payments. And next thing you know, hey, great, I'm doing great for 2 months until they get their audit. And that's what I see on almost all the financials. So what we really need to do is kind of know your rates and do an actual per payroll. So as you go month to month, you know what your exposure. And at the end of the 12 months of the audit period, you already have a reserve. And the idea is to beat that reserve. You beat that reserve, then you actually have another reserve coming to the next year or money back. So that's really number one that I see would really help security guard companies right now.
Excellent. Jack, we mentioned the three-headed monster. So maybe from the other silos, from a labor standpoint, or from a commercial banking standpoint, interest rates, not much we can do to control that, but there are things that you do, I know, to help clients position themselves to negotiate better rates. Maybe you want to give us a couple of pearls around that.
Well, I'd say it happens in two areas. On the pricing side, I'll go back to Stephen in a minute, because the most important thing is to have a solid set of financial statements with accurate information on your cost of sale so that you can use that information to price your business more accurately and understand how to gain leverage from your financial statements to get better, more competitive rates, but more profitable contributions to gross margin and your operating income.
Excellent, great. Most companies that we've talked about in the survey and the benchmark report, we saw it on the McCree report for the first time since the list was created some 40 years ago. People are now obviously know the convergence has happened, and they're pivoting to technology to supplement their managed service offerings. Jack, on the technology side, what does that mean to the company that's already started to add these incremental revenue streams? And what does that mean for how you can assist companies in making that transition a significant one in terms of visibility to their overall profitability?
Yeah, Jeff, that's a great question, and it's very, very timely. I'd say since COVID really accelerated the pivot into technology. Leading companies now have learned to do that, have experienced a tremendous improvement in gross profit contribution, but also bottom line profit, and us, very honestly, their valuation. Let's give you an example. If you take a traditional guard company, let's say an established company, it's got $20 million of annual revenues. Typical gross profit for a company like that is around 20%. So that's around $4 million. Bottom line, let's give that company a healthy bottom line operating income, or EBITDA as we like to call it, about $1 million. Mm-hmm. You take that company, instead of having 20 million of traditional guard revenues, and we split it and say, let's say 15 million of that of that revenue is guard service, but 5 million is in the technology area. Instead of a 20% contribution to gross profit, those companies are averaging at 60% contribution to gross profit. So you put that company together with 15 million of revenues and 5 million of technology, and put those things side by side. Now you have a company that is generating 30% gross profit instead of 20%. And on the bottom line, you have almost a 2.5 times gain from a company that was earning $1 million for 20 million revenue. You have a company now we're earning 2.5 million on a $20 million company. That is profound, and that companies are doing that. So we try to help people find the roadmap to how to lay out the plan to start in that direction, and it is significant.
Excellent.
And one other point to that is the contracts go longer. So you amortize the equipment over 3 years. So now you have a 3-year contract and not a 1-year contract. So it also brings the longevity of business and not just, let me hire you for 30 days.
Right. Excellent.
And I would add to that, the companies that can take that business and show that kind of improvement is saving the clients money. So a company in that with that capability is now more competitive. They can go out to their competitors still in the traditional guard service, and they can start taking that business away with those improvements.
Excellent. It's kind of interesting. It all roads go back in my world to non-billable overtime. First thing I learned, first 30 days in the business, and obviously the third rail of the industry. So pre-COVID, turnover rates were roughly in the 55 to 60 percentile rate. Through COVID, they went as high as 200%. The benchmark was a screaming non-billable overtime. What do I do about it? How do I fix it? So I would love to hear, Stephen, some of the tactics that you used in the day, and Jack, if you could provide some oversight into that as well. I think that is still something that plagues a lot of our industry providers and hopefully listeners.
Yeah, absolutely. So we used to incentivize reducing overtime. So you benchmark it. So you put in your bid 4%, and you tell your dispatch team or your SOC team is like, we need to hit 3%. Well, you have a 168 of SOC, so you have 4.5 people running SOC. Well, they all rely on each other, so they all have to benchmark it. So even $100 a week per person could save you thousands. And that night swing tour, well, guess what? They're going to do a good job. The best thing is real time. So on a Wednesday night, you know what guards to put on. Well, from that live technology, you can then monitor and say, let's not put John on, let's put Sally on, because you're on the 40 hours and he's going to hit his 40 seconds. So with technology and the incentive, we were really able to control overtime. Great.
Excellent. I'll stay away from a shameless plug about TrackTech and our platform and our ability. I'll let you do that, Jack. So go ahead, please.
So without using a shameless plug, let's look at the flip side of what Stephen's suggestion was. The reality is many companies still don't carefully watch how the people are being assigned and how ineffectively they're utilizing their full employment base. So very honestly, in scheduling challenges with today's labor availability, if there's a hole in the schedule and you've got call outs, first thing the dispatcher's doing is filling in a hole with people that they know are going to take the assignment, and invariably those people create the excess overtime. The answer is, let's use your tools effectively to understand all of your labor availability pool from your utilization analysis. And there's a way to do that. The significance, if you think about how hard this industry is to generate 2%, 3%, or 5% EBITDA, half of that could be improved or could be doubled simply through effective overtime management.
Excellent. Well, guys, again, I really want to thank you for taking this quick sprint with me. But in closing, Jack, if you can give the audience some idea of some of the services in addition to what you all do, that'd be a great way to wrap up and provide value to our listeners and to our team.
I appreciate that, Jeff. So Whitehaven for the last 9 years has been very successful helping our security owner operators find ways to improve their operations, their profitability by organization management. We do financial analysis. Stephen and our associate, Michelle Russell, are experts at the financial and analysis side of the operation. We also help with finding key talent for teams that really need specialized capabilities. And eventually we help our companies find the way to increase the overall value of their business. So if and when they're ready to exit the business, we found the best way for them to achieve the maximum return for that investment.
Excellent, guys. Again, I want to thank you very much. Very valuable insights. Look forward to posting it and getting all types of feedback. Have a great afternoon, and thank you again.
No, you're welcome, Jeff. Thank you.
Thanks.